gonna backtrack. And you should've kept my name out your mouth. As we go, how it all turned out. When you try to use my name for clout, keep on going, give you something you could talk about.
Hello, everybody. Shout out to the cousins in the chat. How are you doing this fine Tuesday, September 16th at, where are we at? 4:59 p.m. Eastern time. It is like what 2:59 local time over there in Utah where this hearing is happening. Let's get right into it. Today is going to be the first hearing of the first court appearance, as they say, of Tyler James Robinson. He is the suspect who is alleged to have pew-pewed or so-called assassinated Charlie Kirk. Now, I reserve the right to change my mind. What I think right now is more than one person was involved in this. I think it was a group of people. I told y'all from the very first time I reported on this, I could see it in my mind. There was a dark color screen and there's a lot of different like color screen name chat. Like people are chatting. I told y'all it's a dark colored screen. I see it in my mind. Okay. It's just always, I've just always been saying check the group chats. And come to find out, I wasn't too far off on that, was I? No. Okay. So now we're hearing all kinds of things about group chats and things. Now it is being reported some places that today, Tyler is going to be being arraigned. I do not believe that is accurate. I do not think he is going to be being arraigned. I think that he's being just read the charges against him and asked whether or not he needs or requires a lawyer. It is not being televised from inside, to my knowledge. I do have up a couple live stream feeds, but they all do. None of them are actually showing anything. Just the outside of the courthouse. Let me see. I'll just pull up another one. What do I have? Fox 13, Fox 9. It's all the Fox affiliates. Let's check out the AP. Okay, well, the AP does have something. Okay, interesting. All right, so I guess maybe something is going to be said. Now, usually we're not allowed to live stream court hearings, but I did take a look. I did take a look at the court website earlier, and it did say for coverage of the hearing, for streaming of the hearing, then do check with your local, your favorite news or whatever. Let me show y'all where it says that, just so that, because I'm always like very kind of spooked about, yeah, here it is right here about sharing stuff. The hearing for Tyler. Oh, okay. Court is now in session, they said. Oh, it's going to be another quiet one. Great.
Good afternoon. My name is Judge Graf. I will be handling the first appearance calendar today. At the conclusion of the hearing, for the first case, the court will take a recess and remind all those who are scheduled for the first appearance calendar to log back in 15 minutes after the court has taken a recess.
He's not talking or what? He muted himself.
Could you state your name?
There we go. Hold on.
Name?
Tyler James Robinson.
Thank you for being here, Mr. Robinson. I'm Judge Graf. Mr. Squirrel.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. You're probably already aware of my presence or why I'm here, but if not, I am not entering an appearance. I'm not counsel on this case. I'm working with the county to get counsel assigned, but we need you to allow for the appointment of counsel.
Thank you, Mr. Squirrel. I want to go through the qualifications
Absolutely.
For indigency, but that is my intent, Mr. Squirrel.
He's going to have a public defender.
Here. So, Mr. Robinson, you have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, the court can appoint an attorney to represent you. I have reviewed your declaration of financial status and find that you are indigent. I'm provisionally appointing a Rule 8 qualified attorney to represent you on your case, Mr. Robinson. Along with their filing of their appearance of counsel, the assigned attorneys must file declarations with the court that outline their qualifications under Rule 8 and Rule 8C, under Rule 8B and Rule 8C for counsel appointment in a case where death may be a sentencing option. I'm ordering that those declarations be filed prior to the next hearing date, which is set for September 29th at 10 a.m.
September 29th at
Mr.
10.
Robinson, I also wish to inform you of your right against self-incrimination. Anything that you say in court today could be used against you, and we want to protect your constitutional rights. Mr. Robinson, at this time, you will remain in custody without bail. Mr. Squirrel, is there any other points that you wish to address?
No, thank you very much, Your Honor.
Turning to the state.
Yes, Your Honor. Chad Grunander for the state. I'm also joined, and they're listed as attendees, Ryan McBride, Lauren Hunt, David Sturgill, and Chris Ballard. We are the trial team on this case. I do have a few points I'd like to bring up with Your Honor. We have filed a pretrial protective order on behalf of Erica KIRK. We would ask the court to review that. It should be in your queue, Your Honor, and sign that.
Thank you. I have reviewed the pretrial protective order and will be issuing this pretrial protective order in favor of Erica KIRK. Is there any other business that we need to address today, counsel?
Just for the court's information, we did file just recently, within the last few minutes, a notice of intent to seek the death penalty that was filed by Utah County Attorney Jeff Gray. So that should be in the court's file. Lastly, I would just indicate to the court and to, at this point, Mr. Robinson, that we are prepared to collect all of the discovery in this matter and get that turned over to the defense as soon as possible. Rule 16 requires us to provide what we have relied on in charging the information and bringing these charges within 5 days once it's requested. So that'll be prepared to disseminate to the defense as soon as possible.
Thank you, Mr. Grunander. Mr. Robinson, what I also want to do is you have the right to have the charges read that you stand charged of, and I wish to read those to you at this time. Thank you. Mr. Robinson, for count 1, aggravated murder, a capital felony in violation of Utah Code annotated 76-5-202, in that on September 10th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant, Tyler James Robinson, intentionally or knowingly caused the death of Charlie KIRK under the following circumstances. The defendant knowingly created a great risk of death to another individual other than Charlie KIRK and the defendant. Notice conviction of this offense may carry the death penalty or pursuant to Utah Code 76-3-207.7, a mandatory term of imprisonment for life without parole or an indeterminate term of not less than 25 years, and that may be for life. Victim targeting enhancement in violation of Utah Code annotated 76-3-203.14 sub 2. Tyler James Robinson intentionally selected Charlie KIRK because of Tyler James Robinson's belief or perception regarding Charlie KIRK's political expression. Notice if the trier of fact finds beyond a reasonable doubt that the victim targeting enhancement applies, the sentencing judge or the Board of Pardons and Parole shall consider the defendant's selection of the victim as an aggravating factor. Violent offense committed in the presence of a child aggravating factor, the sentencing judge or the Board of Pardons and Parole shall consider as an aggravating factor in their deliberations that the defendant committed a violent criminal offense in the presence of a child. Count 2, felony discharge of a firearm causing serious bodily injury, a first-degree felony in violation of Utah Code annotated 6-11-210 sub 2 and 3C, in that on September 10th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant Tyler James Robinson discharged a firearm in the direction of Charlie Kirk, knowing or having reason to believe that Charlie Kirk may be endangered by the discharge of the firearm, and that the act caused serious bodily injury to Charlie Kirk. Victim targeting enhancement in violation of Utah Code annotated 76-3-203.14 sub 2. Tyler James Robinson intentionally selected Charlie Kirk because Tyler James Robinson's belief or perception regarding Charlie Kirk's political expression. Notice if the trier of fact finds beyond a reasonable doubt that the victim targeting enhancement applies, the sentencing judge or the Board of Pardons and Parole shall consider the defendant's selection of the victim as an aggravating factor. Violent offense committed in the presence of a child, aggravating factor. The sentencing judge or the Board of Pardons and Parole shall consider an aggravating factor in their deliberations that the defendant committed a violent offense in the presence of a child. Count 3, obstruction of justice, a second-degree felony in violation of Utah Code annotated 76-8-306 sub 2, in that on September 10th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant Tyler James Robinson, with intent to hinder, delay, or prevent the investigation, apprehension, prosecution, conviction, or pursuant to any person regarding conduct that constitutes a criminal offense, conceal or remove the firearm used to shoot Charlie Kirk, and the conduct that constitutes an offense would be a capital felony or a first-degree felony. Count 4, obstruction of justice, a second-degree felony in violation of Utah Code 76-8-306 sub 2, in that on or about September 11th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant, Tyler James Robinson, with an intent to hinder, delay, or prevent the investigation, apprehension, prosecution, conviction, or punishment of any person regarding conduct that constitutes a criminal offense, destroyed, concealed, or removed the clothing he wore during the shooting, and the conduct that constitutes an offense would be a capital felony or first-degree felony. Count 5, tampering with a witness, a third-degree felony in violation of Utah Code annotated 76-8-508, in that on or about September 10th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant, Tyler James Robinson, believed that an official proceeding or investigation was pending or about to be instituted, or intended to prevent an official proceeding or investigation, and attempted to induce or otherwise cause his roommate to withhold testimony, information, a document, or an item, to wit, directing his roommate to delete incriminating text messages. Count 6, tampering with a witness, a third-degree felony in violation of Utah Code annotated 76-8-508, in that on or about September 11th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant, Tyler James Robinson, believed that an official proceeding or investigation was pending or about to be instituted, or intended to prevent an official proceeding or investigation, and attempted to induce or otherwise cause his roommate to withhold testimony or information, to wit, directing his roommate to stay silent if the police questioned the roommate. Count 7, violent offense committed in the presence of a child, a Class A misdemeanor in violation of Utah Code annotated 76-3-203.10 sub 2 and 76-3-203.14 sub 3A little double I, in that on or about September 10th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant, Tyler James Robinson, committed criminal homicide in the physical presence of a child younger than 14 years of age, with knowledge that a child was present and that may have been seen or heard the commission of the criminal homicide. Victim targeting enhancement in violation of Utah Code annotated 76-3-203.14 sub 2, Tyler James Robinson intentionally selected Charlie Kirk because of Tyler James Robinson's belief or perception regarding Charlie Kirk's political expression. That concludes reading the information. Mr. Robinson, This case is set for September 29th at 10 a.m. It will be a waiver hearing, and I will be the judge assigned to this case. Mr. Robinson, I invite you to join us at that time. Is there anything further, counsel?
No, Your Honor, we'll have counsel appointed by then. Thank you.
Mr. Gorianna, anything further?
One item, just for clarification, Your Honor, the hearing on the 29th, is that in person or WebEx?
Thank you. That is a great question. It will be via WebEx.
Okay. Thank you, Judge.
All right. I want to thank all parties for being here, and this concludes this hearing at this time. Court is in recess.
All right.
Okay. Let's recap. Let me get my stuff here. Yeah, it was quick. I expected it to be. Okay, let's see. We have 7 new updates from the New York Times. So let's see what they're saying over there. Chad Grunander, Grunander, the criminal division chief for the Utah County Attorney's Office, said his office just filed the notice that it would seek the death penalty. Judge Tony Graff is reading the charges against the suspect, Tyler Robinson, who appears to be listening intently, but is not showing much emotion. The 7 charges included aggravated murder, discharge of a firearm, 2 counts of obstruction of justice, 2 counts of tampering with a witness and committing a violent offense in the presence of a child. Okay. 13 minutes ago, it said, now, this is CNN.com, KIRK shooting suspect makes first court appearance. Tyler Robinson, the shooting suspect involved in the killing of Charlie Kirk, is making his first court appearance now. It's being held virtually. 5 minutes ago, Robinson to remain in custody without bail. The judge, Tony F. Graff, said Tuesday, that's today, that Tyler Robinson, the suspect in the killing of Charlie Kirk, will remain in custody without bail. Mr. Robinson, at this time, you will remain in custody without bail, the judge said. 1 minute ago, the judge appoints an attorney to Kirk shooting suspect. A judge has appointed Charlie Kirk shooting suspect Tyler Robinson an attorney to represent him, he said in court today. The judge said he reviewed Robinson's financial situation and found that he is indigent. That means someone who can't afford their legal fees. The judge said that this was a provisional appointment for an attorney, and that person had to file paperwork about their qualifications to the court before the next hearing. You have to be what's called like death penalty certified or qualified or whatever. It's cases that have, the death penalty on the table. You have to have like a specifically competent type of lawyer that has been certified or whatever in death penalty cases. So the judge said he was provisionally appointing an attorney. And then that person has to file some paperwork. Robinson faces 7 criminal counts, including aggravated murder. 2 minutes ago, the next hearing for Charlie Kirk's suspected shooter is September 29th. The next hearing is September 29th at 10 a.m. local time, and that will be noon Eastern. So I'm putting that in the calendar right now. Next hearing. A lawyer must be appointed to represent Tyler Robinson, and their declarations must be filed before this date. Okay, so the next date is just basically getting him a lawyer. Okay, so there were some reports going around that this was an arraignment. This was not an arraignment. An arraignment is where a person pleads guilty or not guilty. Now, usually at an arraignment, they will read the charges out. But you also plead guilty or not guilty. So today the charges were read out, but for some reason in Utah, they don't do grand jury indictments, or maybe they do. I don't know. They didn't do a grand jury indictment here. They just did like a prosecutor statement of information. So because they do it that way, there's a few more steps in the process between what happens right now, which is just the reading of the charges. So now technically and legally, Tyler Robinson, the suspect, or the alleged shooter, he has been read the charges against him. He has been found to be indigent or unable to afford an attorney under the law. And so one will be appointed to him. An attorney apparently has been appointed to him, but they got to do it provisionally. And so the next hearing is still not going to be him pleading guilty or not guilty. The next hearing is actually going to just still be him kind of going through the next step process to get his death penalty certified lawyer. After that, then it will be an arraignment. So there appears to be another new update from the New York Times. Yes, there is. 4 minutes ago, the suspect, Tyler Robinson, remained silent as the charges against him were read. Well, I mean, that's to be expected. You're not really supposed to say anything. He nodded when the judge spoke to him and said his name when asked, but otherwise did not react to what the judge was saying. The judge has now ended the hearing. The next one is September 29th. Today is the 16th. Let's go to NBC. I guess they stopped updating. Let's go to CBS. They're not updating either. Okay, well, there's this picture. This is Fox News. Suspected Charlie Kirk assassin appears in court. Assassin accused of fatally shooting Charlie Kirk appeared in a virtual court hearing on Tuesday. He's charged with aggravated murder, 2 counts obstruction of justice, 2 counts witness tampering, and violent offense in the presence of a child. He did not enter a plea. That's for an arraignment, which today was not. His next court appearance is going to be 10 a.m. local time, noon Eastern, September 29th. He will remain in custody with no bail in the meantime. The judge said a lawyer must be appointed to represent him by that time. And yeah, I mean, that pretty much appears to be what's going on with that. Yeah, so that is what I wanted to say for that. That's all I really had for this one. In the meantime, facts ain't defamation. Make sure you didn't get unsubscribed. Love you, mean. Okay, bye.